Hello, YouTube. My name is Alan, and it's that time once again. Let's talk metal. This is, of course, long after Christmas by the time this video is showing up on YouTube, but I recorded some extra ones during the holiday season because I often get kind of busy in January starting up a new semester. So, yeah, my Christmas tree isn't really still up. At least I hope it's not. It's probably down by now. Anyway, for this video, we are diving back into the big box of obscure 7-inch singles from American bands. Haven't checked in on this for a while. I was sort of rearranging things recently, had to kind of split some records up into two different boxes. I keep my singles in like small record boxes. One of the boxes has gotten a little too tight with too many singles in it, so was kind of splitting them between two boxes and thought, yeah, I haven't played some of these in a while. Should do a video on them. And kind of landed in the O section. So we want to have three bands that begin with the letter O, and two of the three bands are named Oblivion. And I could have cheated and included a third Oblivion, but that band never got past the demo stage, and it just kind of felt wrong to include them with two singles. But I will revisit that Oblivion when we cover some obscure US metal demos in an upcoming video. Or maybe that video came out before this one. Not sure. That is a problem with recording things in advance. Sometimes the order gets a little loopy. Anyway, I will preface this by saying that none of these three singles I'm going to feature in this particular video are classics of the genre. No one's, running out and paying thousands of dollars and filling their want list with these records. But I think they all have at least one kind of cool song on them. And we're going to talk about them because, well, nobody really does. And these bands deserve a mention at least. So there's also not going to be a whole lot to mention about them because there's not much information available on any of these bands. Up first is a band called Entree. I don't know what this name means. It's Ontray, Entree. So not like an entree like you'd order in a restaurant, as like an appetizer. Entree, the appetizer, that'd be a horrible name for a band. Why would that be such a horrible name for a band? Because you would be doomed to always be the opening act. Huh? Huh? Yeah. New year, same sense of humor. Anyway, don't really know much about Entree other than the fact that they're from the United States and released this one single in 1988. So let's give it a listen and see what it sounds like. We'll play some clips throughout the video, as always. I may skip ahead in some of the clips if there's like a long intro section. This first one is going to be the track None of Your Business from Entree. All right, there's a bit of None of Your Business from Entree. Now, obviously, not a particularly heavy tune, but I tend to like these songs that have this kind of, very dark and moody atmosphere to them. Even if they're not quite heavy metal, they're definitely going for something that's, got a real downer vibe to it. A lot of new wave of British heavy metal bands did this kind of thing, and some US bands have done it too. So yeah, while it's not a headbanging classic, I love that song. I bought the single on the strength of hearing just a little snippet of that song in an auction a long time ago. Um, don't really, again, know much about the single. don't see listings for it online or much. I don't think it's something people would be paying very much for. I got this copy relatively cheap. Let's check out what the flip side sounds like. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be as good as None of Your Business, which, last thing I'll say about that song, um, None of Your Business, to me, sounds like something that you could hear on an album like Icon's Night of the Crime. And if you don't like Icon's Night of the Crime, I just can't help you. That's a really cool album with a lot of great stuff on it. The flip side of Entree doesn't sound like Icon's Night of the Crime. Here's a clip of the flip side, Back for Round Two.
Walk the streets at night alone. You don't know who to talk to. Lots of time to sort it out. Could it be that what they're saying is true? Seems that love has come and passed. But one thing I know is true. I'm gonna keep on holding out for you. Coming back for round two.
I kind of wish they hadn't come back for round two like that. It's not the worst song ever, but obviously a much more sort of, radio friendly, a little bit of a party rock vibe to it going on there. So, yeah, yeah, not too keen on the flip side, but None of Your Business really do like that particular song. So that is Entree from 1988. Only single I know the band released. I found no other listings for any other music poking around online for them. Let's move on to band number two. I promised a couple of bands named Oblivion. The first one is this band, and it's spelled in a very interesting way. You have Oblivion. Um, okay, sure. Yeah, simple monochrome picture sleeve, kind of spacey cosmic vibes going on here. I have just a tiny bit of information on this Oblivion, but we'll save that until after we check out at least one clip. We'll start with the track People, People, People. The word people repeated 3 times. Strange name for a song, but let's check it out.
People, 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 close your eyes. Listen to the sounds in your head. People, 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 can you see? There's only good and evil, no in between. All around is fire, yeah, just say. Lies in the future,
All right, so yeah, there's a little bit of Oblivion's People, People, People. This one also came out in 1988, and the band's from Ohio. They were a Christian band, so they're if you're paying attention to the lyrics, yeah, there's a little bit of a Christian leaning therein. The song's okay. I like what the guitar is doing throughout the song. The guitar is, doing some interesting little things here and there. The song's, of course, got a very laid back vibe, as you just heard. So not incredibly heavy, maybe very slightly funky, but in that very kind of, low key, just chilling type vibe. Huge party foul for having absolutely nothing put on the back of the picture sleeve. This drives me nuts. It's like, I don't care how many couch cushions you have to check to find money for the printer. You can find something. You can get some information on here. It's just member names, just song titles, something about, a contact address. For God's sake, if you're going to the trouble of pressing up the record and printing picture sleeves, put something on both sides of the sleeve. Let's check out the flip side, which is the stronger track in this case. This one is called Rocking on the Good Side. And once again, the title kind of cues you in that this is a Christian act. But let's see what it sounds like. Rocking on the Good Side by Ohio's Oblivion. All right, so yeah, that song has a little heavier vibe to it. Again, it's not going to challenge Ride the Lightning for best metal song of all time, but it's all right, not too bad. Some copies of the Oblivion single, not all copies, but some copies did come with a sticker from the band. And yes, sick little monkey that I am, I did end up with a copy with the sticker. Pretty cool looking sticker. Nice design there to it. The Oblivion single. This is one that when it first kind of turned up in the marketplace was selling for some pretty big money. Some of these obscure Christian metal singles will bring quite a bit. So if you go back and look in like archived auction listings and stuff, you may see some copies of Oblivion's Rocking on the Good Side that were up in like the $300, $400 range. However, some copies have come out of the woodwork over time. A couple of collector buddies of mine were able to track down members of the band, which how you track down members of a band when they have nothing on the back of their picture sleeve is impressive, but they have their ways. And they were able to get, some quantity of copies, not a huge number, but it was enough to bring the price way down. So if Oblivion's Rocking on the Good Side appeals to you and you want to hear more of it, get a copy for yourself. The last couple of copies I've seen sell, we're definitely under $100 a piece, so it has come way down in price. I don't know how many copies are still floating around available. This is the kind of situation where, and I've seen this pattern with a lot of these obscure singles over the years. The first copy turns up, somebody puts it on eBay, has a couple of clips. If it's decent, some collectors will go bonkers for it, runs the price way up. But that kind of, generates some interest, so other people start looking for it. Maybe a copy is found here, a copy there. But when a band member is tracked down, and let's say maybe they've got, 10 copies, 15 copies or something, and all of those start coming out, you see the price go and just crash really fast. Because while these records are very rare, they don't turn up very often, and they're not the kind of thing people are used to looking for when they're out searching for records, which makes them, easy to overlook. There's also just not that much demand for them. In discussing with people, I often describe it. You have to consider not only the like rarity of the record, but you also have to consider the obscurity of the record. And some of these old metal singles are too obscure for their own good in terms of, commanding a high price tag, which it's actually a good thing they're not that expensive. It makes it easier for people to afford them when they come upon them. But yeah, you have certain singles that, are really infamous. Everybody wants a copy of them. They're on lots of want lists. And when those turn up, yeah, they always sell for a lot. But something like Oblivion, yeah, the demand is, relatively low. So having, 10, 15, 20 copies or something show up, that's going to satisfy the marketplace among collectors for quite a while. Those singles can eventually go back up over time, but it may take a while for them to. So I guess take home message from this is that if you're interested in collecting these kind of singles, don't overpay for them. Yeah, if it's the first time one has shown up in particular, the price point may be really, really high. That doesn't mean it's going to stay there. It's kind of the risk you take. If the single turns out to be extremely good and everybody wants it and more copies don't show up, then yeah, the price will stay high. But for singles that, maybe aren't exactly top tier musically, the price will come down as more copies show up. And if even just, a couple handfuls of copies are discovered, the price will come way back down. So be very careful with how much you pay for these kind of things. All right, let's move on to band number three, who are also called Oblivion. Now, this is not a 1988 single. This one came out much earlier, 1981. And this time, yeah, the logo is a little hard to read, but I believe they've spelled Oblivion correctly. So you're an 80s band, you're supposed to spell your name wrong. But 81 is very, very early, so maybe that trend hadn't quite kicked in yet. So we'll forgive them this time. This Oblivion, I don't know where they hailed from. It's an American band, but yeah, I don't have a state of origin. But let's check out what the single sounds like. We'll begin with the side called Don't Wanna.
Don't wanna be here, don't wanna be here, don't wanna be here. Don't wanna stay here, don't wanna stay here, don't wanna stay here. The walls are crashing at the lights are out. Can't seem to notice you are blind and going blind. They keep on tearing me apart. They keep on, yes they keep on, yes they keep on, yes they keep on.
All right, so that is Don't Wanna by Oblivion. Kind of a strange song, but I kind of like it. It moves along at a good clip. It's got, the, synths in the background, a very, very sort of early 80s hallmark. The guitars are doing something just heavy enough to make you feel like this band can rock out when they want to. But yeah, the song's not really bona fide heavy metal either. But again, it's also a 1981 release, and there wasn't a whole lot going on in heavy metal circles in the United States in 1981. Again, the US was, lagging a little behind the new wave of British heavy metal scene. So it's an odd kind of sound. I don't know if they're trying to go for more of a power pop vibe or maybe a sort of slightly hard rock, but not too hard sound. I do like the back of the picture sleeve announces they are Rebels of Rock. So some kind of rock. I'm just not sure what. But I do kind of like the song. I do think the flip side of this one is a little bit better. It's going to be one of those more kind of atmospheric, moody tracks like what we started with tonight. The flip side is called Time Is Over. Let's go ahead and check out a little bit of that one.
time is over. I think the time is over. Tell me goodbye, tell me. I think the time is over. Yeah. Running, screaming, the world is an end. Cheating, deceiving, no time for a change. Time is over. I think the time is over. Tell me goodbye, just tell me. I think the time is over. Yeah. Ready, surrounded our way. Haters and brothers going insane.
So yeah, the time is over. Again, kind of an odd song. It kind of keeps shifting back and forth. You've got the kind of acoustic part where he repeats, the line, the time is over. But then, the guitars come in with a little bit of heaviness to them. Again, no, this isn't Rain in Blood. It's not meant to be Rain in Blood. But there's something heavy going on there that works pretty well. The end of the song is also kind of different and interesting. They kind of slow down and it almost goes into a slightly spoken word, doom is coming kind of noisy vibe. So yeah, very, very interesting sound, but I kind of dig the record. I've only seen this one turn up a couple of times, and this is the only copy I've ever seen turn up with a picture sleeve. There's no pictures of it on Discogs. There's not any pictures of the labels either. But the other copies, the one or two other copies I've seen, did not have a picture sleeve. So for a while, I just assumed this didn't have a sleeve. But then several years ago, stumbled upon this copy. I'm like, oh, well, what do you know? It does have a picture sleeve. So uh, like this is another one like the other singles we've talked about tonight. While it's rare, it's also obscure enough that there's just not that many people looking to buy the Oblivion single. So fortunately, I was able to pick it up and not have to pay a ton for it. I don't really know what's going on in the picture here. Are they holding some kind of, glowing mystical orb that they're all checking out? Are they warming their hands over a burning trash barrel? Are they have some kind of, cauldron that's emitting an eerie light as they perform some kind of ritual? I'm not exactly sure what's happening down here at the bottom of the picture. They're probably just like holding a soft white light bulb or something and pretending that it's something interesting. Um, but yeah, the picture sleeve is just very 81 as well. They don't look like a metal band yet because they're not a metal band yet, but they do appeal to me. I can dig this single just fine. All right, so that is going to do it for this set of singles. Yeah, not the heaviest stuff ever, but again, even these kind of bands deserve, their moment in the spotlight. That's why we're here, and that's why I talk about them. So, hope you enjoyed these. And again, you can look for the Oblivion demo band. They were out of Florida, by the way. Uh, that band has much more of a heavy metal sound, and if that video is not already out, well, it will be in the near future. But until next time, let me know what you thought of these. No worries if they're not quite your cup of tea, but we'll do more heavy content in the near future. For now, though, let's shut this one down. Until next time, everybody take care, and as always, keep banging your head.